Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods here on this Thirsty Thursday. That's right, it is Thirsty Thursday. We're getting close to the weekend, and of course, Sunday we have uh, the battle for the basement, so to speak. We have the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that actually has some meaning. Currently, the Dallas Cowboys sit in the fourth slot as far as the draft goes. Cincinnati sits at the number three spot. And because of that, in honor of getting back to basically a season that's done for the Cowboys for the most part, we have actually gone back and we have restarted the clock and we have set the time for the draft. We currently have 141 days, 10 hours, 58 minutes, and 29 seconds. So this game does mean something to all of us, and it may mean a whole lot more. I try and do as much research as I can every day. I'm constantly between my day job and keeping my mama happy, and things, and doing all the other things. I am constantly looking for more knowledge when it comes to everything that's going on. What I do is I take bits and pieces of things that you get and come up with a conclusion. Sometimes they're spot on, sometimes they're not anywhere close. But this is the conundrum, that's probably mispronounced, the problem with trying to be a football forecaster. Shit's crazy. You just don't know. But the best thing you can do is get as much information as you can. The Dallas Cowboys, we've proven once again that you must have a quarterback to succeed. You need more than just a quarterback, but if you don't have a good quarterback, it's going to be really, really hard to. And that's where a lot of teams right now are looking at their situations and saying, you know what, we're good at quarterback, or we need to get one of those guys. The Dallas Cowboys, it seems to be, are kind of on the fence. And one minute it seems like they think that they got one in Dak, and then other times it seems like, I'm not so sure. Um, Jerry Jones said the other day, I want to read this verbatim so that way I make sure I don't lose anything in interpretation. He was talking about Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones, in this interview on 105 The Fan, acknowledged the positives that he brings to having a quarterback that can move and run to help fuel an offense. However, Jones worries that Prescott taking hits will lead to him being hurt and therefore unavailable to play. Now, keep in mind that in the history of the Dallas Cowboys never had a quarterback before Dak Prescott that made it through 3 years consecutively without missing games. None. Not Roger, not Troy, not Tony Romo, none of them. This is the first time that Dak Prescott's missed any time. And as Dak Prescott's rehabbing, as you sit here and you work on thinking about, is he going to be my quarterback or draft somebody else? You kind of throw shade at him a bit and question him. And I don't understand why you do this at this point. Because what you want is you want a guy who's motivated, who's looking forward to coming back because he's going to work harder to go ahead and prove everybody wrong. But Jerry Jones said this: I have always handicapped to some degree Dak because of the fact he's so effective and has been in his career running, in the running game. And his ability to take it down and get big plays and get yards, Jones said. I've always known he couldn't do that like that for long in the NFL. You can't do that. Troy Aikman had a lot of mobility when he first came in his first couple of years, and boy, that stopped quickly when we got where we had trouble, just his mobility, period, around the pocket. You can't count on that. Now, when I say handicap, no, it's just part of the game that we're not going to be able to figure in. Jones continued. You look at some quarterbacks that are built with it and have done good with it. Quarterbacks like Seattle's Russell Wilson is the best I've ever seen at sustaining success with his mobility. But I'm sure he's good at it. I'm sure as he has gotten, if you notice him, boy, he just does not get hit with a lot of impact. So Dak can do that. Dak will do that, and he can evolve to where he will just take less and less hits. He has to, or else he won't have him for long. We won't have him long to play. Now, to me, that says we're signing him for a long-term deal. But in the same sense, you're kind of throwing shade at him. Now, we're at a crossroads here, and it's going to be interesting because we're going to need to know. We'll know something by the end of February. By the end of February, if the Dallas Cowboys do not put a franchise tag or get a long-term contract, Dak Prescott can go anywhere. Dak Prescott is a free agent. And here's where rumors actually get started. Because as I was going through this morning on the Twitter, I came across this gem.
Dropped this little mini bomb on NFL Live Wednesday. Dak Prescott should want out of Dallas.
Off the top of your head, where would he go? Where would Dak want to go?
It's a team on the West Coast with a coach named Kyle Shanahan.
Ooh.
And a GM named John Lynch.
Well, 49ers
that would love
action.
to have Dak Prescott running that offense. The San Francisco 49ers. Yeah.
All right, so we'll see what happens. And if that ends up being true, we'll bring this bomb back December 9th of 2020. We'll see what ends up happening.
Marcus, good job.
Yeah, Adam.
It is what it is.
Adam, you got anything to add there? I got to let you go real fast if you do.
I'll say this. That's the very first time that I've heard Dak Prescott connected to the 49ers, but I like it.
All right, Adam Schefter likes it, so that's...
Yeah, so first time I've heard him connected to the 49ers. So here's what's going to happen. That's going to start the brigade of Dak Prescott going elsewhere to other teams. And as we look at this, though, and you think about it, you're Dak Prescott, okay? You have, unlike Carson Wentz, you have literally gotten better every year that you've been in the NFL. You're Rookie of the Year. You got paid peanuts for your first four seasons. You had to play on a franchise tag. You get literally Cowboy fans, even after literally everything dropped off a cliff, still say, well, Dak's not not it. Let's go ahead and get somebody else. You've been underappreciated. And even when the Dallas Cowboys went from one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL to looking completely inept, of having all these great weapons that we were all told that, anybody can just come in here and do great things because they've got all the pieces right there in front of them, and that Dak is just a bus driver. And then it's proven that Andy Dalton, who people thought could take Dak Prescott's place, that still you have an owner who's kind of throwing shade on the quarterback. Now, some people will say stuff like, well, Dak, could have had a long-term deal, but he was being greedy. Screw him. He's not a team player. Now, I'm going to ask you, when is a team player-friendly? When have you ever seen a team do stuff for the player just because, we're going to do the right thing for the player? We know he's not performing anymore, but we're going to keep him on the team and keep him paid. You make a contract with a guy like Des Bryant and say, you know what? We're cutting that thing. We're getting rid of you. You didn't pay the full contract to that guy. There's no loyalty to the player. So why is it fans think that the player needs to be loyal to the team? Yeah, I want Dak Prescott to be our quarterback. I want to see Dak Prescott holding up multiple Super Bowl trophies. So that way I can go to you guys out there and say that Dak Prescott, he's a bus driver. He's a bum. Dak trash cut. Dink and dunk Dak. I want all of those assholes out there to eat shit. I do. But when it comes to money, let me ask you this. How many billionaires out there say, you know what? I got enough money for my great-great-grandkids to be living filthy rich on. I'm good. I'm done. I don't need to make any more money. Have you seen any of those guys out there? Jeff Bezos owns half the world. Is he saying, you know what? I'm good. You don't. Every single one of us are out there trying to make every cent we can. And when you are an NFL player, especially quarterback or a running back, you have a finite time and opportunity. You are literally the cream of the crop. Even the guys that are second stringers, even Carson Wentz is one of a few people on the planet that can do that job. And every single play, you are putting your neck on the line, literally. Catastrophic injuries. The shit that Alex Smith went through, 24 operations, came close to having to have his leg amputated to get back on the field. You know, when there's wrongful suits where somebody gets maimed, or they took some medication and they ended up growing, a third arm or something like that. You know what happens? They get a settlement. They get paid for that because they're doing something crazy. When somebody worked in a factory that had asbestos and stuff in it, there's suits that take care of those. That doesn't exist in the NFL. You got to make every cent that you can while you can. And Dak shouldn't be any different. And the question will be is, because again, by the end of February, the Dallas Cowboys have to either shit or get off the toilet. They have to have a long-term deal with Dak or at least franchise tag him to keep anybody else from negotiating with them. Now, they could try and franchise tag him and trade him, but the perils of this is he has to sign that tag and agree to go to that team. And he could say, you know what? I'm not doing that. And if I'm Dak Prescott, I have done everything that you have ever asked me to do with a smile on my face. I have performed, as you can see, because as people put out there, Andy Dalton, there's no difference between Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's never had what Dak Prescott's had. We've heard them talk about Dak Prescott being a trust fund baby, I think is what Colin Cowherd is. He's got the wide receivers, he's got the offensive line, he's got the running back. He's got everything handed to him. And I look at that kind of that stuff, knowing his background, where he came up, and what he had to do to get to that point, and look at that kind of talk as an insult. And Jerry Jones is insulting Dak Prescott when he says that, he can't run and that he's a running quarterback. This isn't Lamar Jackson. This isn't RG3. He does not run like that. But one final note here. I want to go back to this list so I can find my cursor. When you got all these damn screens, what happens is your cursor gets lost on one of them and I can't see it real well. Top 10 running quarterbacks of all time. Number 10, John Elway. Ran for 3,007 yards. Hall of Famer. Steve McNair. 3,590 yards. 37 rushing touchdowns. Donovan McNabb. 3,459 yards, 29 TDs. At 7. Lamar Jackson was already at number 7. 1,672 yards, 12 TDs. Although I will say that I think Lamar Jackson, I don't know how long he can keep that up, but he's doing incredible with it. Fran Tarkington, 3,674 yards, 32 TDs. 9 Pro Bowls. Russell Wilson, 3,963 yards at number 5, 19 TDs. Cam Newton, 4,806 yards, 58 TDs. Steve Young, get this. Steve Young, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winning quarterback, 4,239 yards, 43 TDs. Randall Cunningham, Randall was hell. 4,928 yards, 35 TDs. And Michael Vick, of course, 6,109 yards, 36 TDs. Now, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is running around. Keep this in mind. He's not running like Michael Vick was. He's not running like Randall Cunningham was. He's not even running like Cam Newton. Dak selectively picks when he runs. And if it weren't for one fluke tackle where the guy just happened to get his foot caught up underneath of him, he wouldn't be injured. He's been one of the most durable quarterbacks out there. You look at Carson Wentz, who's missed, 2 seasons with a back and a knee. Dak Prescott will be fine. So I guess let the rumor mill start. As we sit here, 141 days, 10 hours, and 44 minutes and 10 seconds away from the draft. I'm Mark Holmes. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to be working out in a no man's zone, so I probably won't be able to upload, or it'll take forever to get there. But I will definitely be talking to you soon.